Hello. This is the TopCat podcast coming to you straight from somewhere in Spain, brought to you by Only Traders. That is the channel sponsor. Well, that is the channel. So, today will be our first episode brought to you by the one and only Taflon Don. And basically, in this episode, we're just going to be going over certain criteria for the basis of success and what success means today. So, with that being said, let's get straight into the content, and I hope you guys enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get in touch, let's get in tune. Let's all just inspire each other to be more successful, more progressive beings, and fuck all the other shit, to be honest. So, when it comes to success for me personally, success means having an outstanding life. And what does having an outstanding life actually mean? For me, it means having a life where you are you are free from you're basically free from expectations in society, expectations from people, free of addiction, just free. Literally, your mind is clear. You have mental clarity at all times. And I know in the world that we live in, it's almost impossible to have that with so much going on around us, social media, um, just the things going on the news, etc., etc. It seems almost impossible. Society has laws, society has rules that you have to abide by, etc. But that should not stop you from pursuing success, and success is what I would call freedom. There are a lot of people who are famous who've made a lot of money, and I wouldn't even consider them successful because it seems like their success, it seems almost like having a 9 to 5 job because you have so much expectation on you. And if you make the wrong move, just like that, you can be cancelled and you can lose your livelihood and you can literally lose everything that you've worked so hard for just because a few people got pissed off with a few things that you said. So for me, when I define success, it means being free of all of that bullshit that society puts on people who make money, people who do outstanding things but are still guided by society's laws and by society's rules. Trust me when I say there are people out there who are just living their lives, having an outstanding time, making the money that they're making, and nobody expects anything of them, so they can do whatever the fuck they want, and nobody's gonna criticize them for doing what they desire to do. And that is where we should be all aspiring to get to a point where we have no obligation, no responsibility. We choose to take it on. It's not forced upon us by our jobs, by our families, by our friends, by our society, etc., etc. That's literally trying to, it's like, that's the reason why we try to get away from the school system so much, is because as much as the school system is advantageous for us, it comes with so much on it that you're expected to perform in a certain way. And if you do not perform in that certain way that's very linear, then you're not a good student. Even though defining what a good student is, there could be so many ways to define it. Someone who strays away from authority could be a good person because they do not just follow orders. There are a lot of fucking robots out in this motherfucker. People who just follow blindly without asking questions. And when you're in a system like that, they're gonna ridicule you for being exactly like that because they want you to stay in the system and they want you to be stuck there. But when I say all these systems, it's not like these systems were made to destroy human beings. All these systems were made to progress human beings. It's just that with that progression, there comes a lot of bullshit, and a lot of people come in and now try to push their agendas forward instead of actually trying to educate the population. It becomes a battle between two different sides trying to gain power over the people and bring them closer to their mindset. So that's what I would define as not successful, and what we're trying to avoid is that society has, that linear thinking that most people have because they do not put the time in to question or to reflect on things that have happened in their lives. People see things with their eyes, but they won't believe it still up until they hear it from this guru or this pastor or this politician or this athlete or this fucking famous motherfucker, this music, this artist. Like, at the end of the day, those are people too. They bleed, they sweat, and they cry just like you. They take a shit just like you, man. So you can't just go by whatever that person says. You have to think for yourself. You can listen to them, you can hear what they have to say, but at the end of the day, you have to come out with your own judgment of such things, such situations. So it's very difficult in this life trying to find that balance between getting advice and creating your own path. You have to somehow find the balance. That's the only way, to be honest, because sometimes going your own path, you're going to bump into a lot of mountains, a lot of obstacles, and those can be avoided by listening to other people and hearing the advice that they have to give. But as I told you, the main objective is for you to make your own judgment after hearing people out. Always give people a chance to come at you with their beliefs, with their with their ideas, with their knowledge. Always give people a chance. Be very open-minded. Always open the door. But once that door is open, remember you always have the authority to kick a motherfucker out. Simple as that. You have the authority to say, nah, I don't believe in that shit, or I don't abide by that law, or I don't abide by that rule. Because to be honest, some of the rules are bullshit, some of the beliefs are bullshit, and some of the laws are bullshit. But then people do not question, they don't get pissed off enough to be like, hey man, what the fuck is actually going on here? So you should be that type of person, because that will guarantee you success. That will guarantee you success in your life. Not success in the eyes of other people, but success in your life, to have an outstanding, stress free, nice, where you choose your problems, not problems that are given onto you by other people and by other institutions. You choose your own problems, because to be honest, you cannot avoid a life without problems. And a life without problems is not fulfilling. A life without problems is problematic. But you can have the option to choose your own problems. And so, for us to become successful, those are the things that we need to start considering when we go about our day. It's about doing these things every single day, questioning decisions every single day, and coming up with our own conclusions every single day. Remember, the way that you feel today might not be the way that you feel tomorrow. So, your opinion and your intuition can always change on a day to day basis. But as long as you're progressing forward, I'm sure you will not go backwards. Once you've questioned something, once you've really looked at it deeply, deeply and intensely, I'm sure you'll find all the nooks and the crannies, and from that point, you either choose to progress forward or you abandon that idea completely. But you can never go backwards, because you chose to dissect it. You chose to be like a doctor and get on that scalpel and fucking do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's how you have to really look at life. You have to look at it from a microscopic view, where most people do not look at life in that frame, in that sense. They literally they literally let life dictate what is given to them. And I understand life has a lot of power. Life has a lot of power. But at the same time, as a human being, with the understanding and knowledge that life has given you, you also have a lot of power to change your circumstances and to change the things around you. So, with that being said, that's the first episode of the Top Cat podcast. And this was just a freestyle. Next time I'm gonna come, guys, fully prepared and shit. And I promise, guys, it's gonna be a banger. And I'm gonna let you guys know into how I dissect these things and how maybe you can take something off. As I told you, you should always be open-minded to hear people's beliefs, people's ideas, but you always have the authority to kick a motherfucker out of your house.